All right, guys, welcome back to Lull Trainings. That was a quick transition, but we're back. It is game number 2 of the day. It's going to be lowest level players versus Team EzGee, and I'm Pyrotechnics. Casting with me is going to be Llama.
Hi guys, I'm gonna be a new caster for LOL tourneys.
Welcome aboard, man. How you liking it so far?
Pretty good, pretty good.
It's a good place to be. I enjoy it. So, getting into this game, this is a pretty straightforward matchup. These guys have been in a couple of our tournaments before. I'm excited to see how they go head-to-head. The bans are pretty much already done. So we'll work you through it. Over on lowest level players, they've got Yasuo banned away, Master Yi, something we see really frequently since the 4.5 patch, and Thresh, of course, taken away as well. And on the other side, over for Team EzGee, they got rid of Leona, got rid of Jax, another champion that you are seeing a lot more frequent bans lately, and Evelynn as well, scary jungler. So they're going to really start quickly with the picks and bans, or with the picks, that is. Annie picked up immediately, most likely support, but we've seen her go other places. And the answer is straight up bot lane composition. Out of EzGee, it's a, well, almost pick Misfortune, hovering now over Poppy, and Morgana almost locked in as well.
The bans are very straightforward, mainly targeted at the jungle, especially with the new 4.5 patch and the Feral Flare, which can easily let the jungle get out of hand if you don't keep them in check. We're looking at now the Annie pick taken in. The Annie pick surprises me a little bit to be a first pick, because you can pretty quickly pick the Morgana to prevent your carry from being CC'd, but overall it's a strong pick. If you need to, you can rotate, you can switch her into mid lane, and that can definitely be a saving grace.
That might be what LLP is going for, because they do hesitate to hover over the Zyra, and they decide in the end, we're just going to go with Caitlyn. Wukong locked in as well, almost certainly a jungle, but we've seen him capable of going top. But the bot lane's already set up. I like that, yes, Morgana is very easily able to negate some of the Annie damage, but you have to be predictive about it, since she's so close range and has a tendency to hang out in the bush and hit you when you least expect it with the flash stun tippers. It's a pretty scary thing to deal with, and you need a lot of good mechanics to time that out.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that.
Mid lane pickup for Yokai is going to be Nidalee. So this is another scary champion that, you know, everyone is clamoring to see nerfed. It's not going to happen quite soon. Renekton also going to be another lock-in. These are very, very strong meta champions. They rock an incredibly high pick ban rate, and in all levels of play, really. And this is shaping up to be a pretty scary comp from EzGee.
The Renekton top certainly sets up early game dominance on top lane, shutting down whether it be Wukong or another champion that they pick to go top. Nidalee definitely sets up a lot of combination with Morgana to peel one for Nidalee, and to also snare down a target and then launch a spear at maximum range. So I like that combination.
The weakness, of course, of Nidalee, especially at the lower levels, being a lack of mobility, a lack of hard engaged capability, and that's what they're going to attempt to abuse on LLP as they pick up LeBlanc, almost certainly bound from the mid lane, and a Lim 4000 on Rise. I like that as a counter to Renekton. We've seen it before. It means that you give up a bit of tankiness in your top lane composition, but he really is able to deal a lot of damage without risking being touched.
Yeah, that Rune Prison can definitely lock down a target that is trying to get into the back lines. Renekton excels at that, so that will as long as he can land it onto Renekton, that will definitely be a smart pick.
Rise really doesn't have a whole lot of trouble farming either. Only one pick remains to EzGee, and they're going to pick up, it looks like, Pantheon for their jungle. That should give them a little bit more global presence, but I can't help but thinking that LLP has outpicked them a little bit.
For sure. Caitlyn is definitely going to outpoke Misfortune in laning phase. That'll be a lot of harass down there. They'll need to focus on a lot of hard engage, which leads me to think that the Pantheon would be a good choice, although it could be maybe peeled away a bit with a nice stun from Annie. It sets up Misfortune ult right on top of the Pantheon stun, and that will be a lot of heavy damage in the early game to keep them alive in the laning.
If they can land those wombo combos, they shouldn't have too much trouble. What I find kind of interesting is this teamfight potential that LLP is rocking has got a lot of AoE stun lock, and then they have a couple of close to well, not all of them are assassins. You've got LeBlanc, but a lot of high burst champions too. Caitlyn, if she can have a really good stellar laning phase, she can deal a lot of damage from the backline thanks to auto attacks and the Peacemaker without ever getting in harm's way. Annie, stun, flash stun Tibbers, of course, kind of the signature move. Wukong with the Cyclone, if they can land a combination of ults, and this is true of a lot of team comps, but this one is especially potent because of the high burst potential, and frankly, a lot of CC that they have on this LLP side. And it'll be interesting to see how EzGee can answer it. They certainly have a better sustain game, a better poke game, and we'll see if they can pull that off.
It's definitely a lot of area of effect, especially in the area of the Cyclone and the Tibbers, locking down multiple targets. I'll be curious to see how Morgana and Nidalee will be able to peel from such a dive-in combination. As long as they can land a snare onto Wukong, they should be able to survive the brunt of the Tibbers stun. It all depends on focus for the most part, and we'll have to see for sure how they do to keep themselves at bay and keep themselves out of harm's way.
I think the biggest highlight is going to be how this mid lane goes. LeBlanc is, very dive heavy and emphasized by her summoner spell. She picks up the on top of the flash. Nidalee, on the other hand, going for the heal, and built in with the heal, since they don't have the debuff quite yet that's going to be coming back with the 4.6 patch that's not yet hit, it should mean that Nidalee is going to be able to survive really, really long time in the lane, whereas LeBlanc is going to be trying to burst her down at every chance she gets. LeBlanc honestly doesn't really farm as well as Nidalee, and that's saying a lot because Nidalee's not the strongest farming champion either.
Yeah.
In the early game, that is.
For sure. If need be, though, Nidalee can definitely stay back and farm with her spears. It will be quite mana costly, but it'll probably be a little bit smarter play than getting all in by LeBlanc at level 3 or 4.
Yeah, I completely agree. You don't want to allow that to happen really early on, and there's always the threat of a Wukong jungle gank. It's even pre-6, it's still pretty scary. He's got nice gap closers. You don't see him coming. The bot lane. I think that this is nicely locked up for LLP, but I wouldn't count that combination out. Misfortune, we don't see a lot these days. Why do you think that is?
I think it's probably because of her low success in any patch before the 4.5. She had to get the ultimate and then the four stacks off her W to truly deal full damage and to contest against a lot of the other ADCs. But with the new 4.5, her ultimate will apply those 4 stacks for you, and she can just churn out a lot more damage in team fights. And they also scaled a little bit more on the damage of her Q, the one that bounces between targets.
Yeah, well, hopefully she'll be able to take a bite out of that Caitlyn. Llama, we're going to get into the loading screen in just a minute, and we're going to have something really cool. I don't know if they've told you about this, but this is the kind of thing that people either love or they love to hate, but this is what we do at LOL Tourneys. It's called the Skin War. Are you ready for it?
I guess I'm ready for it.
All right, man. Well, we'll get it going. It's still about 15 seconds out, but it's really awesome. Basically, we just see the loading screen up, and as they pop up, we're just going to reel off each of the skins. And then at the end of it, you and I get to decide who wins the skin war, because that is the best war. That is the most important test of this, not who wins the game. It is definitely all about the skins. So here
Sounds
we go.
Great.
Skin War Best War. That's the hashtag we use on Twitter too, as well as LOLT. Guys, check us out if you are of the Twitterverse. Please do. And don't forget to sign up for our upcoming league season. All the information on loltourneys.com. But right now, Llama, it's time for the Skin War Best War. Let's do this. The excitement is palpable. I'm waiting for the loading screens to complete so I can see them. I can't see any skins yet. Oh, there they go. Okay. All right, for lowest level players, we've got Panda Annie, General Wukong, Uncle Rise. It's not quite 4th of July yet. And a Vanilla Caitlyn and LeBlanc, so that is a 3-skin, triple skin for the blue team. And for their opponents, EzGee, they've got Headhunter Nidalee. Very, very terrifying. Vanilla, Morgana, and Misfortune, and Renekton, and Pantheon. So with a score of 3-1, it looks like the lowest level players are going to take a victory in the Skin War.
For sure. Props to Nidalee, though, for picking up Headhunter. That's definitely the best one out there. Probably the one with the best splash art.
So hesitant to buy it. All the other Nidalee skins, splash art, you're right, is kind of dated. but they all look really cool in game. And I actually own every Nidalee skin. That's like the one claim to fame I have.
But I do have to say, probably Panda Annie alone would beat out Headhunter Nidalee.
It's a pretty sweet one, I guess.
I'm a fan of
like
anime,
it. I think
so
it's
that might
creative.
be a personal preference.
Dude, I like anime too. I just haven't had the time to watch it. So much casting, man. You don't have time to do anything. Welcome to your new life. That's how it goes. All right, so we've already got a pause. Ooh, okay. So here's how we do this. Typically it's because of connection issues, and we'll get word on that. But basically what happens is each team is allowed a total of 2 pauses for 10 minutes. So this is a pause for EzGee as Pantheon is disconnected, and we'll give them a little bit of time to come into the game, or come back into the game. And basically, they have about 5 minutes to resolve this particular issue, or they can take another pause. And when they're exhausted, they have to forfeit the individual game. But usually it doesn't happen. So we'll take the time to check on chat, see how you guys are doing. You lovely, lovely people. How are you guys? Let us know. Shout it out. Say all the profanities and spam all the little... Oh, wait, we're already back. Okay, never mind. Okay, so let's see what these guys are going to do early. They're kind of roaming together to start, and you know, since 4.5 and since 4.4 even, there have been a lot of good potential for early invades. And what's your take on this whole new meta of you don't really know if we're going to be in your jungle or not?
I really like it. It promotes a lot more strategy. It promotes a lot more interest into your champion picks. You can't pick a completely level 18 composition. You've got to pick at least someone to deal with the level 1. And it could very well be an invasion here.
Yeah,
but
they're certainly posturing for it. This is a weird layout, though. Yeah, they've got 2 in the bush.
It almost looks to me as if both teams want to invade the other.
They're kind of trying to psych each other out. Look at this. They're hanging around in plain sight. Elim 4000 on Rise there. He's just kind of camping in plain view and really within range, too. They've got to know that they've got 2 in the jungle, or 2 in the bush, and Renekton is nowhere near his top lane, but neither is Rise, so we're going to call this game a chicken and recall. At least one of them. Oh, this invade! Here it goes!
Here comes
they
the
catch Rise in Dark Binding, the level 1, but it's a blind into the bush, and Annie gets a lot of damage on it. Now all of a sudden Wukong's taking a bit on the outside, but Renekton's finding himself out of position. So far, nobody dies.
Looks like both teams just want to disengage. That was a wonderful full 5-man stun from Annie there. Both teams managed to lock down at least someone from the other team and force them back. For the purple team, it is definitely going to be Wukong, who's going to have to take a little bit more caution, and Morgana is going back, Renekton going back, of course, as well, to see if he can get a little bit more items before his way to the top lane.
Now this is interesting. EzGee is going for the lane swap. They're going to be making Rise's life a little bit difficult in this early game, but that was one of the reasons why Renekton had no fear to hang around there. They knew they were going to have to recall either way, but Renekton in this bot lane should be able to hold off this combination of Caitlyn Annie without too much trouble. He's not going to be able to farm all but under tower, but that gives his ADC and support a chance to really shove this lane hard. Rise cannot hope to stand up against this.
I'm very curious how this will affect Renekton in particular. Regardless of the situation, Rise can usually come back later, but the Renekton, any Renekton, really determines his game presence by how well he performs in the early game.
Well, he's certainly going to get bullied a little bit himself, but I don't think he'll have too much trouble dealing with this because he does have a surefire protection against any deep tower dives that could occur. He's got a stun, and you don't want to get under tower within range of that. He's got really good dashes in Slice and Dice, and once he hits 3, it shouldn't really have too much trouble. Pantheon coming around the side to try and pick up LeBlanc in the mid lane, but they're not too worried about it. Nidalee being taken already down to half health, having to pop her own built-in heal, not Summoner just yet.
As soon as Renekton hits level 6, it should be much easier for him. If he ever gets into trouble, he can always pop his Dominus.
Or he can just do what he's doing now, farming the jungle instead of opting to try and get within harm's way. And this is a really interesting strategy that EzGee is employing. Top lane being shoved very predictably. Elim can't really do much about this. It looks like there are going to be a couple of early turrets. Question is, who's going to get it? Will it be LP or EzGee? Right now, LP's making the run for it. They've got it all the way down to about a third of its health. And this bot lane is Doing pretty well by farm, too. Renekton's applied 0 pressure so far.
Definitely looks like Nidalee is having a little bit of trouble in mid lane. Pantheon might try to help out.
Oh,
that
whoa,
could be it right there.
There's the Ignite, but the Summoner heal pop, and her own heal as well. Pantheon jumps and turns right around. The Ignite is going to tick down to nothing. Surviving by a thread is Nidalee, and she is perhaps unwisely chasing this LeBlanc into the jungle. One spear would do a lot of damage, and there it goes, but there's the dash forward. Ooh, scary, scary, and there's the flash forced out. LeBlanc, not enough damage to take it out, but Wukong's going to find Nidalee on the outside. The heal is still going up. So close, but no first blood. Both sides. That was a really, really tense moment, but this top lane and the bottom lane are both continually under siege. Alim not able to do much of anything, but the first turret will fall. Renekton taken low, and there's the flash forward. Andy's going to get the stun off, and it was completely worth, although it looks like the flash was forced out of Renekton as well. One more auto attack, and there he goes. Alligator down. And that was the first blood.
So looking at the gold so far, we're already at a 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, the pressure was really a lot better from LLP on that bot lane, and right now Wukong is going to be able to relieve a little bit, so Ryze can go back, take a little bit of time, and build up some items. Yokai and Kalea have not been able to apply the same amount of pressure to this tower with Ryze, simply because he hasn't left. Renekton farmed up jungle to try and keep himself safe, but in doing that, he gave complete free reign to the bot lane combination of Caitlyn and Annie, and that kind of lost them the tower.
I really don't think Caitlyn and Annie are going to be able to push any further than that inner turret.
Maybe not for the time being.
It'll be very difficult
still, a tower's a tower.
With Nidalee being able to roam down as well, and Pantheon definitely able to control his own jungle this early into the game, I would be surprised if they even attempted to push that far.
Yeah, no, and the lane swap's been completed up in the top. We already see Caitlyn and Annie going back to even this out, so basically they won that one, and even more than that, they have the option now to go for Dragon, but in the mid lane, oh, LeBlanc is on Nidalee, but spears are flying. Can she finish the job, though? No dash available just yet, no level 6, Nidalee survives. Alright, so far, so bueno. They've managed to hold on to this one, and Llama, they definitely have the opportunity to pick up Dragon. Do you think they'll go for it early, or wait until they've secured another tower?
I think they'll probably wait until they can get at least one more tower. It'd be... although they could probably do it, it would be risky, and it might not be completely worth it for them.
And without the ADC pressure, too, it's kind of hard to pull off, and securing the mid is going to be really important, but they don't seem all that interested in it. LeBlanc is just focusing on farming champions instead of minions. Well, she does have more farm. So something's working.
Yeah.
Alright, so Wukong, he's been able to be pretty scary this game, but he hasn't really done all that much in terms of picking up kills. His counterpart, Pantheon, not able to do anything as well. I think this still goes better for LLP, though. Pantheon is an early game jungler. He really needs to get early ganks to hit that power spike, whereas Wukong is extremely useful in team fights. So, I don't know, what can Pantheon really do in this situation, though, with these weird lane swap situations that have been going on?
Probably his best bet would be to try to rotate up to mid, or, sorry, not mid, to top lane. Top lane's being pressured very hard by
well, here's
wave
Wukong.
clear.
There's the Rim Prison in the bot lane, and whoa! They almost get Renekton. He's going to dice away, but that's not enough. Williamsley takes a kill on that one. Wukong showing himself in style. And the mid lane actually had a double roam, but neither of them got there in time.
So as I was
LLP
saying,
might be picking the dragon. Yeah, go ahead.
Pantheon should probably move up to top lane. They've been pressured very hard.
One more, it's all it takes. No, she's going to heal herself. Blue buff is extremely useful in that situation, and heal is still OP for this patch. That's going to be really frustrating as
desperately to get any kill.
Yeah, now
start snowballing that lane.
She can start pushing on this tower without a whole lot of worries, because there is a decent number of minions in that mid lane. Pantheon has really not provided a whole lot of backup in this mid lane since that level 2 gank that really didn't do anything. Top lane is continuing to pretty much play out as though it were a normal bot, and that's probably all for the best. Although both ADCs have hit 6, the support's yet to do it. Once Annie has Tibbers, that could change very quickly. But here comes Nidalee with the roam up the mid lane, and they've got to know this is coming. Oh, but a spear's gonna hit Caitlyn right in the face. Nice back with the net. Almost takes a Dark Binding, and whoa, another spear being taken, but here's LeBlanc trying to help clean up. The Black Shield is helping quite a bit there, but Nidalee still goes down to half health before all is said and done. Annie takes a spear.
These spears are hitting very well.
Yes,
long
right
range,
on the edge of the hitbox.
Yeah, long range, nice damage. But what I'd really like to point out right now is the huge gold difference between Ryze and Renekton. It's almost a 2 times gold. So against someone like Renekton who thrives off that early game dominance, I really feel like he's gonna have trouble pushing any further.
Yep, I completely agree. This is a really, really big advantage in gold, but this top lane is being pressured pretty hard now that everyone's been forced away on LLP, so there's a 3-man pushing up to try and equalize on this side. They should take down that top turret. Now Pantheon defending the mid lane. He still is a pretty scary presence, and I don't think they have an answer for him right now, despite the fact that he hasn't been extremely useful in ganking lanes. So now a full recall in effect, and they take that top lane, they back away. This is going to give an opportunity, however quick, for Caitlyn and Annie to push this wave in and take a tower, but LeBlanc is already back in the mid, and Laser, he's just farming up raise. He's kind of a little bit out to lunch there. You need to be defending this turret, and it's going to go down pretty soon. Maybe not right now. Pantheon will chase him off. Hey, look, a LeBlanc with the blue buff, Pantheon with the red buff. It kind of goes with them. It's very, very fashion forward, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. 486 health left on that tower.
Not much left at all. And now Nidalee...
Be tough to hold that. They can try to keep it back as
yeah, I think they're going to get this, though, with Wukong as well. This is only a matter of time before it falls. Now, Caitlyn trying to answer up in the top, but Misfortune dropping bullets on him, and that'll force that minion wave to evaporate very quickly. Nothing doing there. It continues just a very long laning phase, really, for this game, despite the fact that turrets fell early. Looks like the first dragon is going to be contested by EzGee. They're positioning for this very quickly, but they're only 2 right now.
Pink ward getting cleared out there by Yomi.
Excellent warding, by the way. This is one thing I want to point out that both teams have been doing extremely well, is warding at the very effective points, making sure that they are keeping very good tabs of vision, clearing wards as best they can as well. So now that they know that that's being cleared out, okay, whatever, I'm not too worried about it. Wukong roaming around into the enemy jungle, looking to steal a blue buff or a white perhaps, but a spear is going to deter him for just a moment. Yomi knows he's there, and he's going to go right around the side trying to find Renekton, but he's not the easiest guy to gank.
Definitely not with that Dominus.
No, here they go. Okay, so he's going to slice. Cyclone comes in. He still has a dice, though, but he pops the Dominus. Rune Prison down. There he goes. He's still running, but he's still a big gator. Can they catch him? Only 2 more auto attacks should do it. There goes Ryze E. I believe that was E. I never know the name of it because I play him like twice. LeBlanc coming around the side. Laser is locked up. The dash forward, the ignite.
Wow.
It's going down. One more tick. One more auto attack. That's all you need. And Pizza Dog picks up a miraculous kill on that side. 2 for none on the gank and the roam. But in the top lane, everybody is going down. All of a sudden, a heal is popped. Well, Caitlyn has to run away, dodges a spear. So close. Annie is in the middle of everything, but taking no damage whatsoever. They're chasing Caitlyn. The ace in the hole comes out to deter. It looks like now it's going to be turned around. Ryze TP's in. Yokai's going to go down, but not before Caitlyn. And now they're turning right on around. Black Shield pop a little prematurely. Yomi cougaring out of there, but they will eventually trade 1 for 1. The AD carries. And a good job. And meanwhile, the blue team, yeah, it looks like LLP picked up the dragon in all the confusion. Wukong and LeBlanc dealing a lot of burst damage. The siege continues, however, up top.
That was a great rotation by LLP.
Yeah,
bring Ryze up to really push back that Nidalee.
It was a fantastic counter engage. The teleport timing was just absolutely clutch. Unfortunately, Mikihara just kind of decided, hey, I can go back in and fight, and got caught, really. You can't really 1v1 a Misfortune that's has a lot more health than you do at the time, and that's really what happened. Might be up an item, but you can still go down. So 1-1 for both AD carries, actually. And Ryze making himself known this game. Despite the setbacks early for LLP, they managed to pick up towers. 1 in the bot, 1 in the mid, There's only been one answer from EzGee, and they have to start picking up kills. They're down 5k in this game. And remember, there's only one game that decides if you go on to this next one.
Yeah.
All right. LeBlanc's looking for a chase on the Cougar through the lane, and she's going to just jump away. But LeBlanc, find yourself a little bit out of position there. There's a lot of enemies around you.
She's just going to disengage that one.
Yeah.
Nidalee's
No,
still trying to get a little bit more farm, trying to get that power spike. Her spears really need to start doing a bit more damage.
Yeah, once she gets up to the Unholy Grail, she should be able to do that, but she just hasn't been left alone to farm. There have been a lot of scattered engages, and it's just not that great for an early game Nidalee, especially when you're down 20 farm, and your opposing laner already has a DFG. Now this, whoa, Ace in the Hole fired a little bit early to zone the Croc out. Looks like Caitlyn will face tank up a couple. Mikihara picking up the kill on the turret. So far, all three are pushed now for LLP, and they increase their gold lead to about 6k. I can math. It just takes me longer.
So there is a huge difference between the gold of Nidalee and LeBlanc. We're looking at 1,000 difference about, and Morgana has approximately the same amount of gold as Annie, give or take a few hundred. So they're fairly even. But the surprising thing is that Annie and Nidalee, Annie has more gold than Nidalee.
Oh, whoa, LeBlanc trying to blow up Nidalee, but the Black Shield comes out just in time. Now Pichidel getting turned on around. There we go. And the Tormented Toil, it's actually going to catch him on a Dark Binding. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe Nidalee survived that. I can hardly believe LeBlanc survived that. That's just so close.
She dropped down
That's
to
the power
19 health points there.
You are kidding me. That's the point where you type in chat how much. Wow. Just so close. Nidalee, this is why you take heal in 4-5.
Definitely one of the most useful summoner spells. Flash,
Absolutely.
still probably being the most utility-wise.
Now that's gonna change a little bit when 4-6 comes in, especially for Nidalee, because you can't stack the healing effects as well as you could. But Yomi fully abusing the current patch for the time being to great effect. And, you know, give him credit, he's not dropped a kill yet. So many close shaves with LeBlanc, and that's just a really hard champion to lane against. No, I don't care who you are. Still hasn't dropped a kill, only lost a tower, and that's because of a lot of repeated roam presence. And nice Dark Binding, Nidalee trying to force Annie back there, but the Rune Prison is going to lock up Morgana. Ace in the Hole coming out. Heal was up, though. Once again, the triple heal doing work, but now this tower being sieged on. Olymp 4000 taking the brunt of some of that damage. Williams Lee poking it down to a big minion wave going forward, and now I don't think they can defend this tower if they keep on it. One more hit's going to do it. Down it goes, and here's going to be a full engage. LeBlanc's going to go forward. Pichidel, nope, backing away. The juice.
Smart move by
Mikihara.
That was a smart move by Kaluuya to rally his team backwards, bring them all away. They were low on health from the poke down from Caitlyn and from Annie. There's no way they would have been able to win that fight. So it's better just to leave the tower to fall.
And that was really, really well played by LLP. They just have been out-rotating their opponents a good chunk of this game. Just every time they're one step ahead of the engages, but interestingly enough, they're not getting too many kills. They're just taking objectives left and right, but not letting things happen back and forth. They keep trying in case P2 here we go, and nope, Yokai's going to deter that as well as Renekton. So, again, to the credit of EzGee, they've not given up a lot of kills. They just can't quite keep up with LLP in these rotations that they're taking. So, next objective ought to be a tower, or perhaps a dragon, but they need to find something. All they've got is that one tower in the top lane.
There's only 50 seconds until the dragon spawns, so depending on who's been keeping track of it, who's been watching it, who wants it, definitely could be a fight there.
Yeah, they're going to be contesting this one hard, but so far, despite taking a spear right there, LeBlanc and the rest of LP have been doing really, really good in taking the better team fights. Let's see if they can keep this up as the game goes on. There is a decent bit of scaling that goes in the favor of EzGee. They've got Nidalee, they've got Renekton, And I think those are two champions that have a really fantastic late game in terms of both damage and sustainability. So we'll see if that can do work for them as it goes on.
And the gold difference between Alem and Ritsu just keeps growing. We're now over 2,000 between them. And ooh,
yep, and here they're going to turn for the dragon. So this is a really, really quick one. Oh, you want to get it back? You got to, I believe you hit the tab.
Yeah, I got it.
There you go. So they're going to take this dragon first, but it's not going to be uncontested. P2 Doll almost goes down in that, and one spear is all it's going to take. Nidalee flashes forward, a little bit thirsty. Doesn't quite pick it up, but they can contest this dragon very easily. It's low, and they're going to actually pick it up. Renekton slices and dices in, forcing the flash and dash away from Caitlyn and Wukong, who don't manage to go down in that one, but they take everybody low. They actually got P2 Doll around the side at the end of it, and they picked up Dragon. A fantastic turnaround for EzGee, and they're going to cut this gold lead by a couple of thousand and push on this mid lane now. Ooh, Pantheon's got to be careful, though. Oh, man, here they're coming in now. Mikihara, got to dodge those spears.
These spears are going to be a great tool for pushing down this turret.
Yeah, if they got one Dark Binding, they can lock up Mikihara like it's nobody's business. However, they've got to land them. They've just been to the left and to the right just a little bit, the Dark Bindings and the spears, and they need Renekton to be there face tanking when they are pushing together, but unfortunately Ritsu had to go up to the top lane to fend off Rise, who was doing quite a lot of damage to that turret, and he's been forced off for the timing. But now there's a counter push. Mikihara and Kid are pushing down the mid, but they're going to be answered by Yomi. And is it Kaluuya? I could not pronounce it. It looked kind of like something I would put in one of my rum drinks.
Looks like Kaluuya to me.
Kaluuya.
Kaluuya.
That's what it is. It's Kaluuya. It's the thing you make White Russians with. All right. Well, that's a nice little red steel. We'll debate the names in a little bit, but nicely done to answer for that. A big Roman. They're going to hide out in this bush and scattering just for the moment, and there's a cake trap. Yeah, Pantheon, you just stepped on one. All right, so a big time 5 rotations now. They're really not messing around with the split push anymore, and I think this is going to be really useful for both teams as this mid game really kicks off.
If Mikihara or I don't even know how to pronounce Annie's name.
I just call him Kid. Annie the Kid.
Kid.
There you go.
And or P2 Doll, 3 highly squishy characters on LLP. If any of them get hit by a nice long-range spear, that could definitely mean a fight exploding out of EzGee.
Now, to be said though, Nidalee does not have her full build or anywhere near it just yet. Still hasn't finished the Unholy Grail because she's not been able to farm as well as LeBlanc. Has only got a pair of assists to her name. Still hasn't gone down. And she's got the Sork shoes, but oh wow, this big push down bot is going to be completely interrupted by the bullet time from MF. And they're finding Mikihara. Here's the Pantheon ult. It actually gets interrupted, and they're knocked all the way back. Take out Morgana, but a triple kill goes over to Williams-Lee as they continue to push this around. It looked really bad for LLP, but they take a 4 for none at the end of the day, and a tower locked up. Actually, a 4 for 1 as JJ Laser gets a kill onto Mikihara before going down. But Yomi, the only one alive right now on EzGee, and he's going to have to give this inhibitor turret up. Maybe not without a fight.
That was a great Cyclone.
Amazing. And he picks up a triple kill for it, too. That red buff was incredibly useful. Mikihara might have gone down in that, but when you're 4 for 1 trading, especially when you get a turret off it, that is #worth. I'm going to take another blue buff, too. Run in the jungle right now, both sides. Alright, so they're going to have to clear this wave in the top. That's one thing that they didn't manage to get in all of that, and LeBlanc going to be able to do that quite easily. But to get back into this game, what can EzGee do right now? They've been trying to push on objectives, but they're clearly losing team fights.
I feel like what they'll probably have to do is get Renekton and Pantheon, possibly Misfortune as well. They will probably have to try to sneak a Baron. It's very early. There's no way that anyone could expect it to happen, but a 3-man Baron could definitely be possible if the 2 or 3 players can build up some lifesteal, a little bit of sustain, and that could definitely pull them back into the game. Or any missed Cyclone from Williams could definitely turn the game in the other way. If a Cyclone only hits one person, then EzGee can just jump right in.
Oh, wow. Yokai can't even take on Rise 2-1, and they're actually going to find him right now, but popping the ult just to pick off Rise just shows you how desperate for kills they are. Yokai does get that, and with Pantheon's help, they're going to be pushing down on this bot lane turret. That's what they need to do, is start catching people, but they used up a lot of abilities. 2 ultimates burned just to pick up Rise in a turret. I'd say it's worth, but that bot has been pressured all day, and right now the Baron Dance should commence pretty soon, or at least it looks like the remaining members of LLP are looking to push on this top side, threatening the Baron still, though.
They'll definitely have to send someone bot lane to clear out the 3-man push, otherwise they'll keep going as far as they want.
They're going to find Ritz on the outside, who's going to have to slice and dice away. He's getting locked up, though, on the chains. There he goes, pops the dominant, stays alive for just a moment. They can't quite push him down, but they can push this turret. However, the 3-man bot assassination squad is pushing continuously. They lose a turret up in the top side. They're going to lock up Rise once again, but he's going to force them away from it for the time being. MF still bravely pushing in there. Rune prisoned up. There's a Black Shield to try and keep it. Oh, this is so close. I don't even know how to call it in the top lane. It's also being pushed down. It's a 3-for-3 push, but now LeBlanc has joined the party in the bot, and they're actually going to pick up a couple of kills. Yokai goes down. Dark Binding is going to stop P2 Doll's rampage just for the moment, but right now a 1-for-1 trade and a couple of turret trades, even evenly, are going to go in favor of the LLP because they have just got so much more room to work with. They don't care if they've been pushed up to inhibitor turrets on the bot side. They're still chasing for kills.
For sure. LLP definitely has a nice handle on this game, but
One's going to catch.
EzGee.
Ooh, he burns the flash. Laser not fast enough to escape. That Rise was chasing very hard, very far through the jungle.
With that bot lane push, they did pull up about 2,000 gold. That put them a little bit more into the game, and they're going to be spotted by that ward rotating down to Dragon. 2 wards.
Yeah.
I don't think EzGee is able to contest this, though.
They've got nothing left in the tank right now. They have to defend on 3 fronts because they're pushed to inhibitor turrets everywhere. There's double the turrets on both sides just because there are a few more. Actually, full turrets in the mid lane. 1 down in the top, but everybody else has been pushed in. And the bot lane is really the chink in the armor right now for LLP. They've allowed that to be pushed too far, but by picking up the Dragon, they're going to negate some of the advantages that EzGee would have if they were to push in that direction with their entire force.
We're now back to a 10,000 gold lead for LLP.
Still pretty big. Well, 9.5. It's still, yeah, it's still
close.
Pretty huge.
A large gold lead.
At this point, EzGee has to pick off an objective, like you're saying. They've got to try and maybe bait and steal a Baron, or just poke out their opponents till they can get to a point where they can assassinate 1 or 2. But they're burning a lot of abilities just to take down 1 or 2. And when they've got everybody grouped up right now, like we're seeing in the mid lane, Rise is being the only split push with the 4-1 here. Even with the spear, P2 Doll still threatening. The rest of them still very scary. Nidalee trying to soften this team up as much as possible. They might find Rise on the outside, but EzGee needs to get some damage down if they want to win these team fights.
LLP is just going to keep putting pressure and pressure and pressure.
I got really excited when Wukong killed that big wolf. I got unreasonably excited. I thought it was a champion.
Any team fight between the 2 teams is going to decide pretty much the fate of the rest of the game.
Yeah. Now, EzGee has been able to push a few waves up on the top. However, they've neglected the bot lane. Here we go. Oh, there's a Baron Dance that's about to start. Actually, Lem's just warding. Okay, cool. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's 28 minutes into the game. There's got to be a Baron Dance soon. All right, so they're just gonna go back. This is kind of a game of chicken right now. Who's going to blink first on one side or the other? And unfortunately for EzGee, they really need to counter push. They need to be the ones answering this, and they can't take an aggressive move.
For sure.
Oh, they're going through the jungle though. Right now, P2 Doll and C-Kid are considering waiting in this bush right now to try and blow somebody up. Actually, Annie knows she's been spotted, but whoa, there's a big max range spear. Almost gets hit by the Dark Binding as well, and now they're going to just hide in a slightly safer bush in the jungle.
Looks like Yokai is going to come back to support the team. It's going to be very difficult for EzGee to push back anything that LLP pushes towards them.
With this 5-man in the top lane.
Without Yokai.
I don't think they can stop us, even with everybody as low as they are. Laser has to try and zone somebody out with maybe a man drop behind. He actually has been entirely negated in every one of those attempts today. Whoa! Okay, P2 Doll dashes just away outside the range of the spear. So far, nothing doing, but they're continuing to find little weaknesses and just poke and prod at them whenever they have a chance. LeBlanc actually gets locked up. P2 Doll, there's the ultimate. It burns everything, and they pick up LeBlanc. Just the kill that EzGee needed, and now they can turn around and 5v4 this one. It looks like
what EzGee needs to do now is run straight to and wherever they last saw.
Mid lane would probably be a good start. They haven't managed to pick up any turrets on that one.
And just try to 5v4, start a fight.
They're a little hesitant right now. They're kind of not sure where they want to go. Renekton is pushing back minions in the top, not taking advantage of this power play at all, and that could really cost EzGee.
For sure. Pantheon also looking to farm up a little bit more in the jungle. Both teams have no one at a full build or relatively close, so either team I think would be fine with just farming out, but wow!
Oh, here comes Wukong. He's going to Cyclone on 3 members of EzGee, and Pantheon's going to come and try and push him off. There's the Dark Binding. He's locked up, but they're still chasing forward. A splash. Tibbers goes in, and they get Morgana. They're going for more. Yomi, almost no health. They're going to find J Laser. Here comes a Lim 4000 joining the fight, locking up with the Rim Prison. Yokai is now the next target. They're pushing on forward. A double kill for Rise. Yomi is the only one left standing, except Ritsu, who's way late to the party. This inhib turret will go down. He pops his dominance, but how long can he stay alive in the entire team of LLP? Not very long. They take everybody but Yomi down. Yomi actually hasn't died yet this entire game, but this is going to be an inhibitor and then some. Can they push this down for the win? They're up 12k gold and 8 kills, and they're threatening the Nexus right now. Oh man, this is gonna, I think this is, well, they find Annie on the outside, and LeBlanc's trying to burst down Yomi. This is going to be a really close finish. Pantheon dropping in the back, and now they're turning on to him. Mikihara trying to pick up a kill. They do manage to get it. Williams Lee takes the credit for that one, and it looks like they'll have to back. LLP forced off the Nexus after taking 2 turrets down.
Very close. It's up to LLP whether they want to backdoor it or pull out another siege.
That was
either way.
Incredible series of picks. Even as ahead as they are, LLP just knew how to take advantage of the Wukong, of the ability to gap close, and how clumped up that EzGee were, and it just really completely bit them. EzGee, they've got to separate more when they want to take these fights, and I don't know if they can even push out this far past their base with nothing guarding their Nexus in the mid.
That small time delay from Ritsu could have been the difference between winning and losing that, between ending it then and prolonging it into what it is now. No one was focusing the inhibitor turret there while Ritsu was there. It was just a 5-man on Ritsu. So
farm champions. They're working on that full build, right?
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, because everyone is back up and it's been a full reset, we're going to see yet another fight or possibly some catches. Ritsu, that's not the way you want to go. He's going to slice out of there, but again, they don't have enough defense up on this mid lane, and there's everybody pushing down the middle with super minions on the outside. Nili tries to put a spear, and she's finally got her Unholy Grail, but it's a little bit too little too late right now, and here it goes. This is going to be the final fight on the Nexus. What are they going to do? They're going to 5-man it really quickly, and here's everybody coming in. Morgana, popping the Dark Binding, but she'll go down before it even finishes, and everybody just melts right now. JJ Laser the only one to make it back to Fountain. That is a 4-0. This Nexus is going to be gone. Bye-bye, and GG. The win goes to the lowest level players.
That's certainly the good game.
Yeah, that was a decently lengthy game, not as long as the last one, but a solid lead at 55.7k gold to 40.1. It just turned into a stomp because there was no way that EzGee could come back from where they were. They just weren't rotating objectives properly. They kept giving up kills and getting out of position, and they're just fantastic teamwork, especially out of Williams Lee, to know when he could go in and pop that ult, doing a lot of damage, but well played to them.
That ended with a 15,000 gold lead in favor of LLP. Couldn't remember the name there for a bit. And
really weren't the lowest level players this time. That was fantastic work by them, and they're going to be moving on to the next round. So this was the second round, by the way. They will be moving on to play in, I believe it's going to be the semifinals. I have to look at the bracket. It's going to be the semifinals, yeah. So they will get a shot at the finals coming up next against whoever their opponents are. I don't know yet. I don't think the games have played out. But hey, we could get somebody in for an interview. You want to do that?
A little heavy.
Sure.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask our guy on the other end who we're actually getting for an interview. It's going to be actually Eliminate. So this is gonna be Rise from the last game. How's it going, Eliminate? Welcome.
Good,
And
good.
Williams Lee. Cool. Hey, so welcome, guys. GG. First of all, congrats on your game, on your absolute victory there at the end. And I just want to say, how does it feel to be moving it on through to the next round?
It feels great. It feels great.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to see you guys, and a pleasure to cast. But I just wanted to ask you, when you started pushing these 5-mans or doing the 4-1 split push, especially Elim, you were doing that on the outside. Were you trying to like draw one or two of your opponents like kind of just off to that bot lane or off to the top lane wherever you were doing it, or were you just like, hey, we can push them 5v5, and if one of them goes off, that's fine too? What was your mentality going into that mid game when you had a pretty clear lead already?
Originally, my mentality was I felt like at that stage I was pretty strong as Rise. On possible, if I drew more of them toward me, then my team can engage, and then I still have teleport, and I.
Awesome. Well, you certainly managed to make a really good presence in game. There was that one particular moment up in the top where there was a big push by Misfortune and Morgana, and they had, I believe, Pantheon come in as well, and they teleported into the back line and just completely disrupted the whole thing. Did you just kind of pick that off you're just like, oh, my team needs help, I gotta go, or was that whole thing like baited and planned?
I kind of saw that they were a little in they needed some help, and there was potential to turn it around since tracking them really well and giving damage in return. Felt like if I TP top, I could definitely.
All right. Well, okay. So we got time for another question. Llama, do you wanna ask one?
Yeah. So, how do you personally feel about the lane swap overall? It gave you more gold by the 20-minute mark. You had a 2,000 lead on Renekton. How do you think that affected the game, and how do you think it affected you and Renekton?
To be honest, I was actually really surprised that they lane swapped. I wasn't too sure how I would handle it, but I figured that I would have the edge, at least last hitting, on versus Renekton, who's felt like that.
Might
have given him a better advantage, but I felt like I was able to handle.
Okay. All right. So I think that's all we got time for. Once again, guys, congratulations on your victory. You'll be moving on to the next round, and I don't know if I know who you're playing against yet, but it's going to be the winner of Buddy System and SK Telecom T69. Do you have anything to say to your next opponents?
Best of luck, and hopefully we have a good game.
Oh, so classy here at Tony's. All right, well, thanks for joining us once again. Okay, so we're going to kick it over to some music, but once again, I hope you guys have been enjoying it. Please let us know what you think in the chat. We're always also available on our LOL Attorneys inbox server that you should be getting all sorts of invites to if you ask for. And once again, I'm Pyrotechnics. He's Llama. Hope you guys have been enjoying it. We'll see you soon.
See ya.